This is the thing. Who you choose to hang around with, who you choose to have in your posse is exactly who you become. Choose your posse wisely. I'm here to tell you that putting yourself first is not selfish, it's revolutionary. Welcome to the Woman Warrior Podcast, empowering women to light their lives on fire through Ayurveda, yoga, spirituality, and fitness. Jai Bhagwan, Woman Warriors, and welcome to the Woman Warrior Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Satyavani, and of course, everybody's favorite co-host,
Prajna Mandavi.
That's it. That's all we get, huh?
One of these days in the future, I'll do the intro.
I ask her to do the intro like every time we record, and she gives me just give the face. Give
Just the initial.
All right, that's the face. That's also the face that she gives me every time we're ready to run a Spartan race, just so you know.
Or do a Deca, or pretty much anything.
Or anything. We're going to do this. There you go. Anyway, friends, we are a little silly today, but we are so excited because today we are doing a little transition. We have committed this past year to live life and have podcasts through the Koshas. All of you are familiar with that if you have been listening to our podcast, The 5 Layers of the Self. And we have decided to dedicate, 2 to 3 to 4 episodes per Kosha. So we are now transitioning from the Anamaya Kosha, the physical food body, into the Pranamaya Kosha today, the energetic body. And as soon as we thought of the Pranamaya Kosha, the woman warrior that was top of the list,
Christine Soza.
Christine Soza, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in the house, woo! From True North Awakening, correct?
Yes.
Christine is our guest today, and we are going to talk Pranamaya Kosha. We are going to talk all the things it is that this fabulous woman does. She is a Reiki master, a Reiki teacher, a death doula, and like literally the best pet psychic on the planet, okay? And if you don't believe in any of that, then stop listening to this podcast because it is all true and she is absolutely amazing at it. So we're going to hear more about her story and ask her some energetic questions along the lines of the Pranamaya Kosha. So super excited. But before we dive in and before we actually do our check-in today, a couple of things we want to give up as announcements. So the first thing is, in the event that you are living locally and you would like to do some personal training, the Woman Warrior Academy has added to its menu of things personal training, in-home personal training. We actually have a personal training page on our website, www.thewomanwarrioracademy.com, and we have all different options there. So if you are looking to have a personal trainer, either myself, Prajna Mandavi, we have Pramanика, and Malia. We have several other trainers that are on deck that are serving the Treasure Valley. If that's something that you're interested in, gals, and you want to get jacked and tan for the summer, and also deal with your perimenopause, your menopause, your postmenopausal symptoms, personal training, we highly recommend it. So if it's something that you're interested in doing, and actually Christine Soza personally trains with me, and like the results have been amazing, and we will talk more about that. We also have our online circle in which you can engage with us as well. And we have various different membership options. You can also find out about those membership options on our website, www.thewomanwarrioracademy.com. We have a free option. We have a $50 a month option, and then it levels up from there. And you can choose what it is that you would like to engage in. It's a pretty fantastic group of women from all around the country that are doing really amazing things and sharing all of their transformations. And do you want to add anything to that, Praj? On the circle side of life, since you are one of the gals who posts for the Daily Channel.
Yeah, I post for the Daily Channel, and then we do a weekly empowerment talk, which I just did mine this last week. It's really just kind of whatever comes to the top of our heads at that given week. Sometimes we have a very laid out, thought process. Sometimes it's just how we're feeling for that day and what might come up. It really is a great avenue. There's really a lot of information in it.
Yeah.
And I highly would recommend anyone to go there and just look at it, take the free membership, and just see what's in there.
Yeah,
like there's
see
a
what
lot.
The conversation is.
I mean, there's years of work that you did.
There's a lot of work in there that we've both done.
Yes.
There is a free 6-module online course in there. It's just an intro to Ayurveda. So you can get an idea of what this lifestyle is like if you're looking at transforming your lifestyle. There's also the Dinacharya, a step-by-step process for your daily routine. We have the daily channel, which is a motivational piece that we insert various different videos and posts that will keep you motivated and moving towards a life of purpose, since that's all about what it is that we do. And we have the weekly chat that goes out. We also send out a weekly newsletter now called The Woman Warrior Weekly that has what is our latest podcast clips, tips, all good kinds of stuff. So I agree with you. Just try the free version. There's nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
You have zero to lose in that respect. What's actually tied with this Circle membership is that we now officially, with our personal training, have a customized PT app. So we have worked with a company called Trainerize, and we have a customized Woman Warrior Academy online app where you literally can have a personal trainer in your pocket.
Yep.
We also, if you want to add on to it, there is the Ayurvedic nutritional counseling side of that as well, because oftentimes people are very interested in getting into personal training, and then they're like, how do I deal with my diet? How do I deal with my lifestyle, et cetera? I have several clients on there that are doing 30-day challenges with incorporating some of these daily routines in addition to the actual workouts. So you become a participant in the app, and there's a monthly fee for it, depending on how much training it is that you want. You have 1 workout a week, 2 workouts a week, 3 workouts a week, and there's a range of cost that is also listed on our website as well. So literally for $100 a month, you have a trainer in your pocket if we're going to go kind of with the average. Most people choose that option. So, and the workouts are not only listed in writing, but you also have videos that accompany with it so that you know what the exercise actually is. And what we try to do with that is to customize it according to your body constitution. So this isn't just some like arbitrary thing where we just throw together some workouts and like, hey, do this or do that. But rather, you know, we have the option for you to take a constitution test that allows for us to understand what your body constitution is. What are the strengths? What are the tendencies towards imbalances? And then create customized workouts that come along with that. Praj has created some amazing foundational workouts. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those, what the ingredients of those workouts are?
Very foundational lifts. It's usually, just to get started, about 2 sets of 12 to 16, but you've got your squats, you've got your deadlifts, you've got just your basic bicep curls, triceps, back exercises, very basic lifts that you'd probably see a lot of people doing in the gym, but
they work.
Probably get intimidated and don't want to do them, like say on a squat rack or whatever. So they're sometimes intimidating, but they do really work.
They do.
And finding the foundation is, you don't have to put a ton of weight on, but doing it for 12 to 16 reps. I'm working with my 2 ladies right now, and they're seeing huge benefits.
They've seen huge benefits in like literally 3 months with their running and their hiking and all of this kind of stuff.
And their DEXA scan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Huge.
It was awesome.
Well, Christine, when you started like doing personal training and lifting, like, did you see that it started just to change everything for you? Like, because I know that you've been training for a 5K. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard for me to see the changes. I think I notice having the body scan really helps to validate, oh my gosh, I am losing body fat. My clothes are feeling looser. And what I'm really excited about is the muscle. Like increasing in muscle mass is huge to me because I really want to be stronger as I continue to age. So it's been transformational.
For everyone.
Yeah.
Every woman
Stop
out there.
thinking about what's on the scale and think about how much muscle you have, because that's the biggest thing.
Muscle is the fountain of youth, ladies. So, Trainerize, Woman Warrior app. If you are interested, definitely email Satyavani, Satya, V as in Victory, ANI, at thewomanwarrioracademy.com. Or drop a comment in the comments here on the channel, whether you're listening via YouTube or you're listening via Spotify, and let us know if you are indeed interested, and we can message you back some information. This is just an awesome way where we are able to merge together Ayurvedic principles and lifestyle with personal training and weightlifting, which will have humongous benefits for you as we age, not only from a mobility standpoint, but also from a bone density standpoint, fat burning standpoint, metabolism standpoint. I just can't go on and on anymore about it. So, and then finally,
Upcoming events.
What are we doing? And like, who should come and party with us?
Yeah, well, so we're really trying to be more visible. Like, well, maybe I'm trying to be more visible. You're pretty visible.
I think you are. She's doing a great job.
I think as a collective, we're trying to be more visible and just, so we want, we would love to have people join us on Instagram. So with our events that we have coming up, we're trying to take more pictures. We're trying to take more video because that's the world we live in.
It is.
I mean, love it or hate it, that is the world that we live in. So
but it's also about building community.
It is.
I mean, that's really the intention. This isn't like, hey, check out how cool we are. I mean, we are cool, but like we're only as cool as our posse is,
Well, and when our main focus is we are leading by example,
yes,
people need to see what we're doing.
Yes.
To do that. Right. Like when you're in the gym for an hour and a half in the morning.
Dude, it was terrible this morning.
Yeah. So people need to see that. And so we're doing a Deca Mile.
Yep.
Deca Mile on May 29th.
Yep.
Together.
Woo.
Partner Deca Mile.
Team.
And then we are traveling to Sacramento on May 3rd for a Deca Fit.
Which
5 is longer than a Deca Mile.
Yep.
Super fun.
Yep. And then we have our first Spartan together in July.
Yeah.
We're going to do Utah
first.
Is it the first one?
Maybe. I don't know. You always tell me which one I'm doing. Because you're doing one in Phoenix. You're going to do one in Phoenix.
Yeah, but that's April. At the end of the season.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it'll probably be we'll do the sprint in Utah.
Okay.
And then we're going to do the super here in Boise. And we have to figure out, because I'm going to drag you to the fucking beast. Ooh, sorry. I'm going to drag you to the beast. And she's like, I don't want to do it. You can walk.
Oh, there will be walking. Flat out.
Anyway, just
check out at midnight
come hang out with us. Come hang out with us. It's fun. Like we have a fun time. And like actually, the one that we're doing in Boise, the super, we actually have a team of folks that are joining us.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Tina's joining us. Jesse is joining
from
us.
Fit Body Boot Camp.
Yep. And so anybody else who wants to, you should
Holly's
join us.
doing that one.
Holly's jumping in, etc. So yeah. So we're doing things.
And Holly mentioned she's doing a half marathon in June.
In June.
Like,
yeah, she's doing
the
Boise.
If I have to prep for a beast, I should probably walk it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do the things. Anyway. So that's the stuff, friends. Okay. We're going to now transition our announcements over to our wellness check-in, and the great Praj will lead us through.
Yeah. Just kind of filters, I guess, right into that. So we always do the physical, energetic, mental, emotional, intuition, and spiritual levels. So how you're doing on all of those. So let's just kind of go around one at a time. So for me, the physical, I'm on spring break.
Yay!
Everything's better when you're on spring break. It's been a great day. Like this whole week, just, really being able to do what you want to do. And people are always like, oh, what are you doing for spring break? And I'm like, I'm doing the same thing that I always do.
But just not going to school.
Yeah. Right. I can work out more. And so today I got to work out with the great Holly and Satyavani this morning.
So fun.
You wake up early, you get the dog walked, you get to work out with your two besties. And then I went out and I got compost delivered this morning. So I moved compost around for 3 hours.
Dude, you're so jacked. You're like so farmer girl. You actually had that, what is her name? Beth on Yellowstone. I don't watch that show, but I know that, I know she's a bit of a train wreck, but like, but she's like, she feisty. And I was just like, you're doing it Yellowstone style.
Yeah.
Man. It's great.
Yeah. So I have my pile of compost, I got my wheelbarrow and my shovel. And yeah, even though it's just a light layer, my garden is so spread out that I have to wheelbarrow around everywhere and shovel it into these different spots. And
check out her video on Instagram.
Yeah, I did take a video. So again, trying to be more visible, but
you
just
look so
out,
cute.
I know.
With your little hat on.
Should have had should put braids on or something.
I know. She had a little hat to the Boise Co-op on it. So Boise Co-op, hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Advertising.
Their compost was what I spread.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Is that who delivered it?
Yep.
Oh, right. I didn't know they did that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, not the Boise Co-op. North End Organic Nursery.
Oh, North End Organic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I just think of them.
Right, but you had a Boise Co-op hat on.
Yeah, I did. And then, but just being out in the, really just, even though it was like 40 degrees out there, just being out in the sun and
So nice.
the
that there
wind was
sun
like
today.
blowing my tarp around. I'm like, this is so great. Just to be outside and just doing it. It just made me feel so good. And then getting to hang out here, like just, yeah.
Doing the things.
It's awesome. But no, physically feeling very strong, very capable, and I love it. Just, yeah, I'll get to that one. We'll get to energy. How about you? Hour and a half workout.
Dude, freaking just trying to get jacked. That's all I'm trying to do.
Every time I look back, I see Sat on the treadmill. And I'm like, God, that looks like it sucks.
Oh, it was terrible. 90-minute workout. So Grayson, my trainer, he plugs in workouts for me during the week. I see him twice per month. And then the great Grayson Kilgore, who, by the way, had a High Rocks race this past week. So I'm excited to hear about that.
Oh, yeah. And then they're doing that SoCal thing.
Yeah, they're doing the SoCal thing. But
tell them about the 5+2. You love that.
That I didn't have to do today.
No, but the 5 minutes run and then followed by the 2
Oh,
minute
yeah,
run?
yeah. Oh, Grayson, we have to have a conversation, okay? Because this is the thing. So the workout was 90 minutes. It was like various different things you had to do. It was like,
She'd be on
run,
the elliptical.
right.
They need to see her
all
on
of
the
these things.
treadmill.
Yeah, and then it was like, shoulder over. I mean, like all of this stuff, right? And it's like, just do it for 90 minutes. They call it the Deca long day. Okay, so it's like, you just keep going, et cetera. And so like he has there, like he separates out, like, okay, you're gonna do 5 minutes on the assault bike, which I have to do the elliptical training because we don't have an assault bike at the gym, and then 5 minutes on the treadmill, and then he then says, okay, and then you do a 2-minute run. And then, all of these other 2-minute activities. I'm like, no, that's 7 minutes on the treadmill. Because,
just say 7 minutes on the treadmill.
Exactly. Because it's like, he breaks it up and says like, oh, okay, there's 5 minutes on the treadmill. Like, okay, great, I can do 5 minutes. And then like the next series starts with a 2-minute run. I'm like, no, dude, that's 7 minutes. Like 7 minutes is a long time on the treadmill, right? I'm just like, this is terrible.
Pace
right. I'm like,
2 minutes?
I'm like, do I get a break in between? I'm like, this is terrible. So I'm protesting.
But you're getting cut.
I am. Like, I'm in the cut phase. This is week 3.
Working out 3 times a day.
I'm just putting in reps. Putting in reps, just trying to get the results. But also like a little different this time.
Okay.
I'm not doing majorly low calorie days. August, my other trainer, said like, let's just stick between the 15 and the 1700 calorie range.
Good.
Which is great, which is doable
for all the activity you're doing.
Yeah,
you should
like
be
12 and 1300 calorie days. Like, dude, I just can't. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to. But it'll come off slower, but it feels better.
Yeah.
So I feel way better than I did last year.
Good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So lift heavy, love hard.
Yep.
That's it. What about you, Boo?
I feel amazing.
You look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've got such great hair.
Thank you. I'm in that indecisive point. Do I cut it off or do I let it grow? So
Looks great.
I'm just letting it go. Letting my gray. Yeah, I love what you got going on.
Right?
There.
You got the big bun.
Beautiful. Yeah.
One of these days you're going to come on the show with the hair down and everybody's going to be shocked.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I started training for a 10K, which is not something that I thought I would do, but on my in my Clever Fox planner, that was my goal, to run a marathon. And so I'm starting with 10K.
Killing it.
I'm running a 5K pretty much every day.
Wow.
Which is like, who is this? I feel
that.
strong. And I do have to give a plug for Pat Benatar because there's a song called All Fired Up. And every time I feel like I can't push a little, I'm just like 3 minutes per song and I just push through. And that song, All Fired Up, gets me going.
I love that.
Music,
Nice.
there's something powerful about music. So
I know exactly what you mean. I listen every time I get on the rowing machine. I listen to Trick Daddy. That's called "Let's Go," because the rowing machine is a terrible experience, and I'm just like, "Let's go!" So I totally get it, and you get fired up on that. Pat Benatar.
Pat Benatar, All Fired Up. You gotta get.
I gotta get on that.
Okay. Yeah,
I gotta get that on.
There's something about music that really just kind of helps get you going. So yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I'm discovering it's a mindset. Not, I could talk myself out of a 5K every day, but I seem to get excited about getting up early in the morning and going to the gym. It's like my medicine right now, so it's huge. Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, it's working.
Love it.
How's that lead into your energetic
Oh,
body?
it's everything. I think as we begin to go into our conversation, I really wanted to just focus on my energetic body, my spiritual body, and be in this blissful state all the time. Forgot about my physical body, and I wasn't taking very good care of it. And so really just energetically, I feel so connected, almost to the point where I really have to be like, okay, come on back down. Yeah. Come on back down.
You gotta pull it back.
Got to pull it back because can be in that blissful state and being in the flow is magical. But it's all about balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels good.
Awesome.
Right.
I would have to agree. Like a day like today, where the energy just felt so good, like just being outside and being able to move my body and just being. I've kind of gone back to the being grateful every day and writing that down in my journal and making sure that I'm saying, I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for great friends. And it makes such a big energetic difference.
It does.
That is just such a shift for me. So, and again, I'm on spring break, so everything's a little better. And nothing has really changed. Like it's just, I'm doing the same thing. It's just now I get to do more of it. So, yeah.
So
energetically for you.
Energetically, like Christine called me last week, was it? And she was just like, I'm so in the flow and like just was filled with gratitude. And we just had this great conversation and that just filled my cup. Lately, I've just had some really great conversations with some amazing women with just expressing mutual like admiration and gratitude. And I just feel so in the zone of what I am supposed to be doing on this planet. Like it is crystal clear. Like yesterday, was it yesterday or Sunday? I forgot. You and I and Holly were at the gym and that gentleman just came up to me.
Oh yeah, Alex.
Yeah, Alex. It's like just great guy came up to me and he's like, I just want you to know I love the energy you bring to this gym. I didn't even know who this guy was.
I want to say like, who doesn't?
So sweet. But it was just like so kind, like for somebody to reflect that back. And it's just.
He's a watcher for sure. He observes.
Yeah.
Always been that way.
Yeah, I noticed that. I really noticed that. And it was amazing that you knew him. Like I didn't know that you knew him. So that was super cool. And then today I had a great conversation with a colleague that we went to Ayurveda school together. And she's like, I'm watching what you're doing and I need your fire. She bought my book. She's like, I read it in 2 days and was like, I want to work with you. I want to get that energy that you have. And I was like, well, for the record, it's mostly discipline. I said, I'm incredibly disciplined because I'm not always motivated. And, but it was wonderful. And so I just feel like so connected with so many individuals right now. I feel connected with Michael. We had a recent eclipse and my kitties were like, oh my God, out of control. Put capes on them. Like they were just like flying around the house. I'm like, what is happening right now? So like, it's just funny how your animals reflect back. And I'm just like, everybody just needs to calm down, And so, and all of that to say, in spite of everything that's happening in the world right now, like, we can get sucked into that vortex or we can just keep leading by example and doing great things. And I feel like all of us, and I'm just like one small piece in this circle. So it feels great.
Tie that into mental emotional for you.
Ooh, mental emotional. Good. Really good. I had a bit of a trip up, I would say maybe a week ago, where I felt, I had a conversation with a family member and it weighed a little bit heavy on my heart, just in terms of like, you go back sometimes to those old tapes of when, you were a child and it's like, does this make me a bad person? Does this make me a bad sister or a bad daughter or, a bad family member, et cetera, et cetera. And then I really tapped into all of the things that, I have been working on, all of these practices for years and went back to like literally what I tell every woman it is that I come into contact with, which was, there's nothing wrong with me. I have just done these practices to be able to establish boundaries and all of that because it's very easy to get mentally, emotionally sucked into the narrative of old dynamics. And I realized how old those family dynamics are. And it was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm proud of who it is that I'm becoming, constantly, becoming. I'm proud of the lives that I touch. And if your view of me is not the same view that I have of myself, like, that's okay. And being okay with that. So I felt, even after I had a little bit of a trip up, I felt very mentally and emotionally strong coming out of that after I took a step back and did some reflection. Because it's easy just to get hooked back into that, like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. I'm not making good decisions, or, I'm seen as selfish and I don't want to be seen as selfish. I'm like, fuck that. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How about you?
Mental, emotional. I have 8 weeks left with school. So,
woo-hoo!
Yeah. And
I can't wait.
There have been some really fun topics I've been talking to the kids about. So that's been really fun lately. So that kind of gets me a little bit emotionally like, I'm going to miss some of these conversations, but I can have those conversations with anybody. They're just a captive audience. So, I am going to miss some of that stuff.
Of course.
So keeping that in mind.
Girl, this has been a huge portion of your life.
Oh, yeah.
You've dedicated so much to classroom education. Mm-hmm. What is it, 25,000 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. 26,000. It's been a whole yoga.
But all of these, there's just so many things that are leading me back to why I need to leave. Like, there's just been so many things that have come up just through other conversations outside of school that I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I need to go. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't believe in that anymore. And, you and I have had that conversation about creating some sort of curriculum for young people. And I think that needs to happen.
I think you need to lead that.
Yeah. Just because what I'm seeing in the school system today, those are the reasons. There's societal reasons as to why kids are the way they are today. And so that motivates me, keeps me mentally focused, that this job I'm stepping into has so many possibilities.
It could be whatever it is that you want.
Yeah. And just so many possibilities, so many options, so many ways that we can turn with, again, be able to pivot, with the economy, be able to pivot with, the political status, be able to pivot with who our next, candidates are going to be, or who are next, who we can help. That's all going to shift, and being willing to do that instead of being in a job that, like, we do this way, and, you need to just cater to that. I'm just ready. So that's been really nice.
Awesome.
To feel that. So feeling emotionally capable and ready for that, and not really sad. Just there's going to be some things that I miss. Yeah.
But, it's a chapter in your life that is getting ready to end, so that there can be a rebirth.
Yep.
Which I think is awesome.
Yeah. So, Christine, what about you?
Mental, emotional. I feel like I made a huge gain this week because I am doing something called the Good Death Seminar Series, which is just helping to educate and support caregivers and people in the community. It's been well received. I send out.
Is this based on that new book that's coming out?
The new book that came out today called The Good Death.
Oh, it came out today.
I just got all my books today.
Oh my
I was
God.
so excited. Oh, yeah. Suzanne O'Brien is my teacher, and she has written this book called The Good Death book, and it is it's going to be an amazing resource for everyone. It's kind of like what to expect when you're expecting.
Yeah.
But it's on the other end of life. And so I think
that
it
is
should be
so cool.
Must read.
It's a must read. It should be
everybody.
Everyone. So
all
that came out today. And so I'm doing this Good Death Seminar Series at the local library. And it's been amazing. And the day before I send out a little email to remind people, and the amount of people are growing, and but there's been a core group of people that have been coming each time, and I send out an email, and most people, I ask them to respond to let me know if I can have a workbook ready for them, and someone wrote, "No, thank you." And I took it as, oh my gosh, they don't like me. And, I immediately went into that, oh my gosh, what's wrong, but I
It
was
must be me.
It must be me. And I was so proud of myself to be like, okay, this isn't about me. This is about everyone else's journey. And it's okay if this program or this seminar series did not resonate with her or me. Maybe it was me. I don't know. But I was so proud of myself to be able to just, it was very fast. Normally that would have sent me into this mental, emotional tailspin of, oh my gosh, I can't possibly do this, and I was just really proud of myself for making that shift so quickly.
Awesome.
That's huge. That's huge for this girl. Yeah.
Awesome.
So nice.
What does that say on your level of intuition and intuitively? Since it seems like that would be a good lead in.
My intuition just tells me, I feel like oftentimes I allow my intuition to be my internal guidance system where I rely on that heavily. And so I know that this program really resonates with me and that it's doing so good for the people of the community and will help thousands of people. So intuitively, it feels natural for me to just be in this space. And I think, as we talk about a lot in the Women Warrior program, it's just like living our life's purpose. And I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, intuitively, it feels amazing.
Great. Are they thinking about doing this program online so that you can reach larger audiences?
Yes, I would love to do that. That's my
Excellent.
next step.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's an amazing program.
How about you, girl? Where your third eye at?
I am finding my intuition really well in the dating world right now. I am just short, blunt. This is what I want. If you can't do that, nope.
Swipe
no, thank
left.
you. Wow, that looks like a fake profile, and they just disappear. Just practice, right?
Putting in
Just
reps.
Getting practice, getting reps, and the more reps I get, I'm just like, nope, this is what I want. And if you can't fill that, see ya. I want nothing to do with you.
So proud.
Yeah, my focus is getting more and more narrow, and it's just all leading me to whoever that person is. I don't,
He's out there.
Happens. Yeah. I mean, there's no mistakes, right? There's just, you got to get the practice of knowing what you don't want and figuring out what you do want.
And a lot of times knowing what you don't want is actually more helpful. Mm-hmm. It's more helpful.
And that is your intuition, because your mind hijacks it and says, oh, but you might. Right. You might want that. You never know.
Is this so bad?
You never know.
Yeah.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah. No. Right. I do not want to date.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, he might be cute, but he smokes weed 5 days a week.
420 friendly.
420.
No.
Is that literally a thing?
Oh, that's a thing.
420 friendly.
Absolutely, that's a thing.
I'm learning. I am so out of the friggin' loop.
And there's way more friendlies than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm out of the loop.
too.
Oh my God,
And
girl.
you
I am officially a
You want to be.
next generation Gen Xer. I have no idea. 420 friendly. I think it's funny that some of the stuff has had to get interpreted by some millennial friends.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the language that's used. She's like, she'll call me. She's like, all right, so this is what this person replied back. I'm like, I have no idea what to do with that. I have no idea what that means. So
Neither do I.
so we got to call in millennial reinforcements. Can you interpret this?
What does this mean? She's like, oh, he's just trying to flirt. He's not very good at it. I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay.
How does that apply to me?
I got nothing on that.
Yeah.
That is funny.
How about you? Intuition?
In the zone. I would say it lines up very much with the energetic body right now. Mm-hmm. Seeing things for what they are. And actually, a lot of the intuition, believe it or not, is actually coming from what's happening politically. I'm using that as a mirror to be like, yeah, okay, let's see how this plays itself out. While everybody's just sort of all of this stuff. And I don't necessarily disagree with some of the, but just I'm seeing that an end game has to be here. Something is going to play itself out.
Always.
And so intuitively, I'm like, you know what? I actually believe in, maybe this is naive, I don't know, but intuitively, I feel like I actually do believe in the goodness of people. And if we just all, this is all happening for us. regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on, all of this is happening for us. And so as a result of that, I think intuitively there are different moves in my life that I'm making, different decisions that I'm making, and the right people are coming into that sphere. So it's been great, which like literally just connects a lot with my spiritual body.
Yeah.
I could not feel more like the work it is that we are collectively doing on the spiritual front is so important and so huge.
Well, and how much of the level of fragility that people are facing or in right now because of our political, whatever side you're on. Right. But if you're disconnected from source, you're going to bank everything on what's happening outside of you.
That's exactly correct.
Just people are freaking out.
They are. I literally feel right now, like spiritually, I'm kind of answering to a higher energy. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a higher vibration that's out there. Like, I'm psyched that we have this next group of acharyas that are coming through, and like, you know what? Just lead by example, put good things into the world, and that's my game right now. So, how about you?
No, that's where I'm at too. I just feel like be that witness. Like you always say, it is what it is, as it is.
As it is.
Like you can't change it. All you can work on is just yourself. And again, I just feel like people are so frazzled because they are putting so much focus on the outside world and what they're doing to me. It's like, what are they really doing to you?
Right.
Like, focus on what you can control. Like what can you control? You can control this body. You can control your energy. Like, why are you watching that news stream all the time? I'm kind of getting irritated that I'm focusing on Instagram as much as I am. Mm-hmm. Like, I have just wasted an hour on Instagram when my dog is sitting right here, and I could have just been petting my dog and just, been with that energy.
But you were also putting good energy out onto Instagram. Like, this is my compost. This is my garden.
Yeah, it's not like I'm looking at terrible stuff, but still, I just feel like I wasted half an hour.
Yeah. But there's some really nice things to look at on Instagram.
Well, yes,
I'll
leave that where it is. Okay. How about you, spiritually?
I think it's, I feel like I am spiritually evolving, and it's a practice. What you guys are talking about really reminds me of being in the present moment, right? I think there's a lot of fear going on, and fear means to me we're thinking about things, in the past or the future, or we're afraid that we're going to lose something, or we're not going to get something. And so if I just remember to just be here in the moment, I really do better that way. Yeah. And so leading a spiritual life is really just practicing being present. And like you mentioned, Prajna, about being, just bearing witness. And so I have noticed just the evolution of me. I've just become more of the observer and just really trying not to participate. I have very strong opinions, and I think some people might consider me thinking I have my head in the sand, but really I am aware. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like if I have this presence of just bearing witness to what's going on and not really engaging, it really disconnects me and allows me to just continue to be the light and really supporting people. We talk a lot about, good energy, high vibration, low energy. It's just energy, right? It's just energy, and really just allowing people to have the experience that they're going through. And I don't have to influence it either way for them. I'm not here to convince anyone that having a spiritual life will enhance your life. I feel like it does, but I think just really helping to remember that we miss the magic in everyday life if we are too worried about what's going to be happening in the future, because it may or may not happen.
Yeah.
You're so great.
So good.
So great. You need Christine Soza on speed dial. Mm-hmm. Which actually brings us right into our topic. God, you're so good at the segue.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like you set that whole thing right up.
Great.
Love that. And we are here today to talk about the Pranamaya Kosha, this energy body. And I know, Praj, you've got some things that you want to share and lead with, and then I want to kind of couple that with some things that we've done in like the Ayurvedic Woman program and have been repeated in the Dharma Circle and all of that. So why don't you kick us off here with this
I can
Balance Your Hormones?
Yeah, I can introduce this book. So this is Balance Your Hormones, Balance Your Life by Dr. Claudia Welsh. Okay.
It's a keeper,
right
y'all.
there. Yes, it is. Yeah, something that you want to keep in your cabinet or wherever you keep your books. So concepts of yin and yang. So the different types of energy, and she really starts the book out with these two energies. So
And for the record, Claudia Welsh is like a legend. She's a legend, Chinese medicine specialist, understands Ayurveda just as well, and also allopathic medicine. So that book really brings together all three kind of traditional medical disciplines, as we know them. So.
So I just highlighted some paragraphs here just to get us started. So the first one, because it's dealing with energy, she says, Yang is energetic. It's responsible for motivation, metabolism, transformation, and other active functions in the body and mind. It's considered a reducing principle in Ayurveda because being active reduces or uses up bodily reserves. Yang motivates our body and stimulates our mind. Yin is the nourishing principle that manifests as a substance of the body and calms the mind. All qualities of yin and yang manifest both physically and emotionally. Yin and yang are opposites that depend on each other, because a lot of people will see that yin and yang and they're like, oh, they're opposing. But it's also about balance. They also depend on each other. They continuously interact in a dance that creates and sustains life. And then she goes on later, consider how they function in a human being. As I mentioned earlier, every human being has a life force or vital energy. It remains in the body as long as there is life and leaves at the time of death. This life force is called qi in traditional Chinese medicine and prana in Ayurveda, and is a manifestation of yang. Yin is manifested through all the nourishing fluids that circulate in our bodies. If our yin and yang are balanced, our qi is robust. It flows smoothly, and we have sufficient nourishing fluids to irrigate our tissues and deliver nutrition to them. If yin and yang are out of balance, qi and nourishing fluids cease to flow smoothly, and disease arises.
What I love about that, especially that last part, is this goes back to what we always talk about, that the origins of disease is our disconnection from source. And I actually want to piggyback on that with something that I learned very early on in med school. And it's this, and I've shared this with the two of you as you went through AWP and the Dharma Circle. But this idea of consciousness, and specifically as it relates to this relationship between yin and yang, and this Pranamaya Kosha, this energetic being our direct connection to source. When that is disconnected, then we have disease. And so people will be like, well, I don't really know what that means, et cetera. When I was in med school at New World Ayurveda, when I first started my Ayurveda journey, Dr. Paul was phenomenal, and he kind of tied this together, and he called it the consciousness model of the koshas. So when we start talking about how our energetic body is our source, and when we're disconnected from source, he gives a great couple of bullets here that I want to share that really kind of tie that home. So he wrote that humans are essentially beings that transform energy and information. This energy and information come from an underlying field of energy, intelligence, called the unified field or God. So if you're on the science side of life, you can look at this from the unified field standpoint. It's like basically Newtonian in practice. The brain can operate on this quantum level known as the unified field or God. So like that idea of quantum physics, there's a direct relationship from a scientific perspective of the quantum physics and this idea of God or the unified field. Different vibrations of this underlying field are responsible for the various levels of reality: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, the koshas. Health is experienced when the connection with this underlying field of intelligence and energy is whole, just like you were talking about when yin and yang are in balance. The body has centers for the transformation of energy intelligence known in common parlance, or at least in our world, as the chakras. And chakras are large points that have thousands of smaller points on the body, and those points are known as nadis. So we have these energetic points inside our body. And I know you do a lot of work with this kind of stuff. Sleep is significant because it allows the nervous system to contact higher vibrational rates of consciousness and to replenish and rejuvenate. We receive our God energy during this period. So, perfect example, when you are not sleeping and you are sleep deprived or depleted, and especially for women who are going through, the latter portion of their cycles, perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause, when you don't get that good amount of sleep, you are not replenishing and rejuvenating, and your connection from source starts to disconnect at that very moment. That's why, like when we talk in Ayurveda about the pillars of health, sleep is the top priority. If you are ill, if you are disconnected, if there is an imbalance, you gotta sleep, because then we get back that rejuvenation, we get back that connection to source. Dis-ease comes when the energy intelligence that directs the body's rejuvenation and regeneration process is blocked. So if anything, we understand that we get disconnected from source and our energetic body gets messed up, even on the most mundane level of sleep. Like, you don't sleep, there's a disconnection, and things start to go sideways. So I just wanted to share those current, those pieces, so that people can actually be like, well, how do I know if my energetic body is experience a sense of disease? And how do I know if it's disconnected from source? Well, if you're sleep deprived and you then, as a result, fall into a state of disease, that's kind of how that thing happens. And it's the same thing with hormones. Like, hormones are these energetic centers that give us all of this information and also have energy that provides throughout the body on all different levels. That's why it's so interesting when clients or patients will come either to me or even to you, et cetera, and I think my hormones are out of whack. That's not incorrect. But your hormones, which are these, I almost consider them God particles that exist inside of our body on that Pranamaya Kosha level. The reason why they are out of whack is because they are not in a healthy balance, and that unhealthy balance has everything to do with what your routine is. What is your sleep like? Mm-hmm. Perfect example. And then we go into hydration and diet and your daily routine, et cetera, et cetera. So you actually have control over your energetic body and your connection to source through your daily habits. And now I'm done. Discuss.
Mic drop.
Discuss. Okay. So that leads us to our questions with Miss Christine, who is the energetic queen. Mm-hmm. And there are going to be some things that I want to add from the Kripalu lineage as we go along from this Pranamaya Kosha standpoint.
Well, and I would say probably just blending these first two, and Christine, for you to give our audience a little bit of a background about you.
Yes.
How did you, a little bit about your story as to what led you to stepping into Reiki and energy work as a modality? What was it in your life that moved you in that direction, and what you get from that today? So
it's a journey, right?
Always.
All paths lead us to where we are today. And I think probably the beginning of my journey was my dad passed away. It was a very short illness. He had metastatic lung cancer, and it was 54 days from the day of diagnosis until he passed away. And we had a lot of loose ends to tie up. And we began to be on this journey together. I did not want to leave his side because I felt like I wanted to be there. I did not want to miss a moment, but being a caregiver, so I just want to let caregivers know I see you. I know how hard it is, and I know, Prajna, you've had that experience with your husband, and then Satyavani with your dad. Yep. I think that it is something that can really take a toll on you, on your physical, emotional, spiritual, all of the kosha levels. And so I took care of my dad, and he passed away. And then I felt like, gosh, what am I supposed to do now? And I didn't.
Were you
do
a
well.
nurse at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So like that's part of your background. That's how you first
yes.
entered into this, was going through clinical nursing school.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yep. I've been at LPN or LVN for 30 plus years. And so it felt natural to move into that space of helping take care for my dad. And
Just wanted people to know how cool you are. So I
Thank
just
you.
figured throw that in there.
Thank you. And so I did, I just didn't, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. My anxiety was off the charts. And so I don't know how I found this woman, but someone recommended seeing a healing touch practitioner. So I
That started
found her.
in the nursing genre, healing touch. Yep.
It absolutely is recognized by the Nursing Association. And so I did a lot of healing sessions with her and had profound experiences with her and took a healing touch level 1 class. And that began my journey. And then life happens, and started taking care of the kids. And then our other family members they continue. I love to call it the squishy, delicious, creamy center. They call it the sandwich generation, where you're taking care of your children and then your parents are aging all at the same time. And I like to consider it being an Oreo, delicious, creamy center.
That was actually the visual that I had in my head, but I didn't want to admit that. I really didn't. I was like,
and Oreos are terrible.
oh my God,
Eat them
but
now
I
and
know.
they're horrible.
I
They're
know.
terrible.
I know, but when you were a kid, like, weren't they so
Oh
great?
yes.
So good.
Did you eat the middle?
Absolutely.
I wasn't a middle eater. I ate the whole thing. What I actually would do, okay, do you want to see how bad it was? And like, we didn't have a lot of sweets in my house, but we would put, total sidebar, by the way, folks, I'd put like 4 or 5 Oreos in a cup and put the milk on it and crunch it up and eat it like a soup.
Nice.
That and Chips Ahoy. Those were like the 2 cookies we would have in the house, and like I would just kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
And then
back
they literally
to,
probably made a breakfast cereal.
right.
Oreos.
They did.
Oreos.
They did, because everybody knew that.
Created.
Like that was like underground, and then like, I don't know, Post or Kellogg's got a hold of it, and it was like, it just went sideways. But
Sugar creates terrible energy for you. So
it really does, especially that kind of sugar, like just horrible. So, so back to the sandwich generation. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we took care of all of our family members, and everyone passed away in a short amount of time. And I didn't do a very good job of taking care of myself at all. And there began the decline. You know, I know that the decline was occurring before I was not taking care of myself physically. I wasn't sleeping. It was just many years of hard. And so I got really sick, and I was given a beautiful gift, a pause from work, because I just could not physically work. And that began my healing journey. Someone suggested doing massage and acupuncture, which I had never really engaged in before. Magical. If you've not had either of those, I encourage you to try it. But then someone introduced me to Reiki. And since I had that knowledge of healing touch,
That wasn't a big
natural.
jump. Yeah, it's not a big jump.
They're very similar. And then I healed in ways that I didn't even know, in ways that I didn't even know I needed healing. And what happened for me was that my physical body healed. I no longer needed the surgery. I got off all of the prescription medications that they prescribed for me, and
Isn't that amazing?
it is amazing.
That's
a
from,
miracle.
I mean, not just from Reiki, but like that practice, that energetic practice alone healed all of these things.
For me, it was life or death, because I wasn't even really sure if I wanted to be on the planet anymore. And I felt I was just in a really dark space. And so that began kind of this acceleration of really realizing the power of how we can really heal ourselves. And I really want to, a disclosure, please continue to see your medical practitioner. Reiki is not the cure-all for every disease, but we do not, I think as a Reiki practitioner, I have witnessed so many experiences of just helping create a sacred container for a person to actually do the healing themselves. We do not realize the power of the the ability to heal ourselves. If we can just make some small changes and step up for ourselves, put ourselves first, it's imperative. And I didn't realize that. And so that is where I am today. And I'm a Reiki master teacher where I can help support people and help treat people and create healing in ways that is available to everyone. And it's
also
relatively inexpensive.
And also train people.
Absolutely.
Okay, so folks, listen to me. If this is anything at all that like hits home and resonates with you, this is the teacher to have. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Mm-hmm. If this resonates with you and you're like, hey, I'd like to get in on the Reiki game and become a healer for myself initially, which I found like when I went through Reiki master training, that it was like I was doing this for me. This is, do this, okay? Mm-hmm. Just trying to be clear.
Thank you.
You're welcome, of course.
And I would piggyback onto that we do live in a society that is all about the Anamaya Kosha. Like we focus so much on our body and what we see, and all of a sudden now we don't feel well, and so we think, what allopathic medicine or what's going to fix me, what's going to fix my body, and we don't always think about that there's some energy that something needs to be dealt with that in order for your physical body to help heal itself.
Absolutely. If I may insert a piece here. So my guru, Amrit Desai, who by extension is Prajna's guru, wrote a book. This is so long ago, on Kripalu Yoga called Meditation in Motion. And there was like 3 parts to it. But this whole book is really very much dedicated
to... Such a 70s picture.
Oh, I know, right? Like, do you see how old this book is?
Like the front.
Right, I know, but like, look at the front. I mean, it's, it's OG. Can I tell you, you can't even find this
I doubt
anymore.
it.
You can't. You cannot even find this. This is OG of all the OGs. But the conversation about all of it is actually about prana. And he has this one section in here that says prana, the source of all that exists. From Samkhya philosophy, prana is the intelligent life principle of all that exists, the prime cause of the entire creation. This primal force is the essence of everything that manifests. It regulates law and order, rhythm and harmony of the entire universe. Prana pervades and interpenetrates all that has been created through the cosmos, whether visible or invisible, known or unknown, subtle or gross. It is prana which steers the course of the galaxies, stars, planets, Earth, sun, and moon, with computer-like precision. Everything in the universe comes into being through prana, is sustained through prana, evolves through prana, and is again dissolved and transformed by prana. This universal life energy is the intelligent evolutionary energy from which every form that is contained within space and time has come into being. Prana is the universal spirit, unborn, undying, unchanging, and indestructible. It is Alpha and Omega, without beginning and without end. And I wanted to share that because I feel like exactly what you were saying and what you were also saying, Praj, just about we don't put enough emphasis on what is happening with us energetically. Like you knew that something, like your physical body manifested what was energetically happening. And as a result, you had to take time from work because that's how powerful it is. And I don't think people really see that. They really see like, oh, I have this like physical thing that's happening. Going that one layer deeper, that one koshic layer deeper to the pranamaya and really looking at, okay, what's happening energetically with me is a game changer.
So that leads me to, and using Satyavani and myself as examples, because we've both come in to see you, just someone who's very reluctant to come in and see a Reiki master, or like, what is it like? Is it a dark room where I have to, lay on a bed and like
you do, and it's warm and
you
beautiful.
do, and it's warm as lovely. But you are like, you go in, you have the person sit down, you talk to them about, what maybe are some issues that they've come in for, and then you give a very clear description as to what you're going to do when we are on the table. So can you just give a kind of a brief description as to some of the things that you experience when someone's on the table? Again, using us as an example, because we're fine with that.
But. Yeah, like do the thing. I don't care.
I think so.
She'd be like, "You're all fucked up, Satyavani. All fucked up. Your energy sucks."
That one time where you said you're on fire. I'm like, yeah.
I think with Reiki, first off, I really think that, thank you for that reading. That just totally resonated with me. I believe that to my core. And I think that we have to remember that we're more than just our physical body. We're energetic beings having this human experience. We are way more than just this physical body. And I think we just can't minimize that. How do you feel the effects of energy? Well, you walk into a room, somebody's just had a fight. You have not been involved in the fight, but you walk in and you can just sense that there has been something going on, right?
Preach.
Or I met this woman a couple years ago, and we were at this dinner, and she was across the room, and she just like floated towards me. Not really.
I love that.
I was just like, who is this woman? And my body was just like, I've got to meet her. I don't know who she is. And that's resonance. That's energy. That is something that we all have the ability. We know, we just forget or don't recognize it. That's using our intuition. But when I am in a Reiki session, I really encourage people to, I try to meet people where they're at. Some people have no idea what Reiki is. And I have, there's a lot of misunderstanding about what Reiki is and what it isn't. But I really encourage people to step into the space of just being open. And I'll walk people through a guided meditation or guided imagery. I'll ask them, is there anything in particular that they'd like to work on? Also, I do what's called a body scan, which is similar to a yoga nidra, which really helps to calm the body. A gentleman I worked on recently with hospice says, "You're not hypnotizing me, are you?" And I was like, that's a great question. No, but
but if you want me to,
that's next time. No,
that's part two.
So really just meeting people where they're at, and so just inviting them to be open to the experience. And so what happens in the Reiki experience is that because I can geek out on medical. My brain really resonates with those who live in the left brain. So our parasympathetic and our sympathetic nervous system, and our sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight response, where our nervous system is on fire. When we are under an enormous amount of stress, we all are experiencing stress at any time, but we can't sustain that stressful state of being, and that's where disease happens and where things can really, our physical bodies start to feel the effect. We just can't sustain that type of stress. So that's our sympathetic nervous system. But what happens when we do a Reiki session is our parasympathetic nervous system activates. And so that means that we are in a completely relaxed state.
Rest and digest.
Totally.
Great.
And understanding our nervous system, we just can't hold that stress. And so what happens is our body actually goes into, we're normally in the alpha state. We go into the theta state where we can actually connect within ourselves. And I'm not doing anything but just creating a space. And
Stop. She's doing more than creating a space. And she's not hypnotizing you.
I'm not.
Like, seriously, like, you have incredible energetic power. And, like, yes, the stage is set and you are guiding the person through, et cetera. But there's also this very powerful resonance that you tap into that you offer to the person that is on your table, which is huge. So there's more going on.
I just think that we all have the ability to heal. And so I'm really just helping to guide people to connect to their inner self, their higher self, and really be able to get into that relaxed state. It's almost like going to sleep because you're so relaxed. We do a little bit of gentle touch, which is just on their head or feet. And we just don't touch each other enough. And maybe it's because I come from a nursing background.
I mean, we do in all the wrong ways.
Right.
Totally. And I've had so many men come into the space, like just feeling so all of them have expressed they feel so safe and that nobody wants anything from them. They can just come in and receive and really just be like 45 minutes to an hour of just make it all about you. It's the greatest gift that you can give yourself. We just don't give ourselves enough time.
Love that. It's delightful.
It is.
Can I come over now?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm going right in. So fabulous. Absolutely.
So when you are, like you've given me suggestions just at the end of a session, very specific suggestions, things that you saw or things that you that came up during the session. But as far as overall suggestions, how can someone be guided into changing their energy in a more parasympathetic, stay off their Instagram, like what
Yeah, like what are
kinds
some
of
daily
things?
habits that people can do?
Yeah.
That's a great question. So I avoid alcohol. I know that alcohol is enjoyable to some people, but drinking enough water, there's a power in taking care of yourself, eating the right foods that are nourishing. Again, we were kind of talking about raising your vibration, lowering your vibration, and having, I think I've really become less attached to good energy and bad energy, but we do realize there's a book with Power versus Force, David Hawkins, right? David Hawkins talks about, we can actually, it's measurable now. Our energetic state is measurable. And so we want to be at love or above, and that's 500 megahertz. And so love or above, that's 500.
That's a t-shirt.
Dude, love or above, truth bomb right there. I love that.
But shame is low, fear, anger, those are all low vibrational states. And so what contributes to that? Watching media, social media, all sorts of influences. I am blessed the people. When I was really in an unhealthy state, I was an energy sucker. I was pulling energy from people because I didn't know anything better. Yep. I'm so grateful that those people were able to hold space for me. But now we do not realize the influence, the energetic influence that we have on other. Yep. Are we exchanging positive energy, or are we taking? And sometimes we do need to take, but really reminding ourselves that if we continue to lift up our energy by eating nourishing foods, participating in positive activities, exercising is an excellent way to raise your vibration. Yep. Holding kittens, dogs, babies, going out in nature, breathing exercises, all of that can be so healthy for us. Reiki does not have like the rights to the only way you can increase or activate your parasympathetic nervous system.
Gives you a taste of what it could be like.
Yeah. I think it also gives it a very profound taste. I mean, one of the things that you just mentioned, Christine, which I think is underrated, is having somebody hold space for you. And holding space for somebody, which we talk about all the time in our circle, holding space for somebody is a very different experience than getting together with a friend and having them just
give you advice,
right? Or
this is what I would do
exactly, or
I don't fucking care,
right? Or like allowing somebody just to kind of unload and kind of bitch at you a little bit. And like we do that for friends and stuff like that, but there's a different experience with holding space. And I think you do, I know that you do because I've had my own experience, that you do an excellent job with creating a container where I can just walk in there and I can just truly be me. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we realize the value in that. In the work it is that you do, because all day long we're all different people throughout the day. It's like I have my personal trainer hat on, I have my yoga teacher hat on, and like at my core, I'll just speak for myself. At my core, I'm always going to be who it is that I am, and like you either love me or you hate me. And at the same time, like being fully you, which is absolutely wonderful, and I wouldn't want it any other way, can be very tiring. And having somebody hold space for you to process who you are and who you're becoming is huge. And I think that's also one of the amazing things it is that you give to this earth.
Thank you. I think the beauty is, like, we all reflect back. Like, if I could just be able to share that, the beauty that I see in you is the beauty that you see in me. It's just this beautiful reflection of one another. And if we can get to that place of just this self-love and this self-care and acceptance of ourselves and one another. What an amazing world this would be.
If we were all just who we truly were, things would be easier.
Yeah.
Easier. And like, because when we truly are who we are reconnected to source.
Yeah.
And when we are reconnected to source, we are in that balanced state between fight or flight, rest and digest, allowing for that natural ebb and flow to happen. I think there's also this myth that like, I don't ever want to be in fight or flight. I've got to eliminate that. That's just not possible. Even good things can put us into fight or flight. It's like, even if you're getting married or having a child or, those are stressful experiences that ultimately are wonderful experiences, but you can't avoid that. And so I think that when we are truly ourselves, we are connected to source, and you give us an opportunity, the work it is that you do, give us an opportunity to exercise that. Like you allow us to put in energetic reps. You go into, Christine's space and you allow the container to be there. You allow yourself to be who you truly are. You give yourself that hour to reconnect to source. And we just become better humans as a result of that. So I don't know. I mean, that's been my experience.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, I feel like this is really a whole other topic.
Yes.
So I'm going to try and combine what we've been talking about. But I want to add, since Reiki's not all you do, because you're also a death doula and do a lot of work with animals. Let me see if I can phrase this question. What kind of shifts have you seen in people's energy when they're near death?
It's beautiful. I think
Which takes kind of the fear out of it.
Totally.
Right? Which should.
So that's part of my work is I do Reiki for people at end of life, and if I can get there earlier than later, really developing a relationship, and that builds trust. And I think my oldest Reiki client was 102 years old.
Wow.
And my youngest is 20.
I'm starting to get a little emotional because I really wish you would have been around, or I would have known you when Joe was at the end.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think he really would have benefited from having that. Yeah.
And I think we, I wish everyone could have Reiki.
He didn't trust anyone to do it. And I think you would have, your disarming way about you and just how gentle you are, I think he would have been open to that. So I know we all come into each other's lives for a reason. Just, that's one that I wish I could have had for him. So.
Thank you. Yeah, I would have loved that.
Well, I definitely know that in my end of life planning that you are, so like wherever I wind up, you have to fly there, and make sure that, that you are a person that I want at my side when that transition happens.
Circle of sisters around us.
Exactly.
At the end.
Yeah.
I think, thank you. I'm honored.
That's like a no-brainer. Yeah.
I think as people begin their transition, it's such a, families really want to, create a smaller circle.
Kind of hunker down a little bit. Yeah.
And so inviting someone in that can help hold space for them, because as we continue to transition, we are in that sympathetic nervous system. We're in the fight or flight. Our body is declining, but we still have that will to live. Yes. And so what Reiki can really do is just help that to calm the nervous system down, but finding a way to meet people where they're at and finding the language that works. Because to me, Reiki means love. There is no religious or spiritual belief systems that Reiki, Reiki doesn't
conflict with it.
Does not conflict. There's no contraindications. It's totally safe. And there is so much power, especially when people are having their end of life experience, that we can't minimize that as our physical body is diminishing, our spiritual body is expanding, and to help people and to help support them, help them to really be able to release this physical body. I do Reiki with my end-of-life doula clients, and it's a really powerful tool, just reminding us that dying is not a medical experience. It's a human experience. And
I love that.
it is powerful. It's a powerful place to be. Yeah.
It's also this transformation of energy, that we read about earlier today, this idea of exchanging energy. I'm exchanging the energy of the body for my next birth into, going back to my soul, going back to expanding my spiritual energy, et cetera, which is really pretty amazing. And the fact that it is a gift what you do to be able to hold that space to help a person successfully transition. Like we don't have enough of that, I think. And I think about that like with my dad, like that, if I had thought ahead, or we don't ever know when somebody's going to transition, but that would have been an amazing experience for him as well. I did my best while I was there, but you're on my list. She's on my list, and then I want two of my besties to dress in black outside of the door, so it looks like I was kind of gangster when I transitioned. So
nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And definitely get rid of my phone, because all of the evidence is on the phone.
My people exactly. If I go,
yeah, exactly. Like, you don't want to see this. This would be code red situation. So. Awesome. So Christine, to wrap this portion of it up, where can people learn more about Reiki, and how can they find you?
Thank you. So my little business is called True North Awakening, and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram. I have a website, truenorthawakening.com. Teach Reiki classes, do private sessions, and doing the Good Death Seminar series at the local library. Wish to continue to do that. So just invite people to try it if you are curious about Reiki. And it's really hard to describe in a little talk what Reiki is. I really just encourage people to just try it and see what happens.
It's very experiential.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I would agree. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Make the appointment, go do the thing, see Christine, if you're local, go to the Good Death Seminar, and then also sign up for one of her training courses. Because even if your trajectory is not I want to be, a Reiki energy healer, et cetera, going for the experience to learn the skills for yourself is huge. So it's no different than weight training. It is no different than meditation. All of these practices, this is another practice that you can put in your toolkit, which I think is very powerful. So, all right, girl, try this, not
Try
that.
This, not that.
What are we trying? And what are we not doing?
Well, we're trying Reiki,
yes,
obviously.
We are.
Aside from...
Try Reiki, don't smoke weed.
Yeah. So if you have an ailment, you're dealing with, an issue in your body, and maybe you've seen a doctor, maybe you haven't, allopathic medicine, whatever. Again, it might be beyond your Anamaya Kosha to deal with. It might be a subtle body issue. So try Reiki and see if maybe it is something that is more on an emotional level, very similar to what we talked about last time with your body speaks your mind.
Yes, it does.
Like you could have an issue in your left knee, and it really your meniscus is not torn. It maybe
I don't
has
need a hip
something to do with
replacement.
Maybe it has something to do with the relationship with your father and some unresolved energy there. Like those are the things that we're talking about, that if you want true healing, it's not always just about the body. It's also about the energy as well. So simple.
Love it.
Simple yet profound.
Incredible. The truth bomb for this podcast is walk like you just got the best news in your life. Talk like the world is listening. Move like life is designed in your favor. Energy is magnetic. And if you haven't really picked up on that, here in today's podcast, go see Christine. Energy is magnetic, and confidence bends reality. Some will call it arrogance. Others will say you are naive. But the people who believe good things will happen to them, they are right. I love that. Mm-hmm. Praj picked that one out.
Yep. It's a good
so
one.
good. It is a good one.
It's a good one.
Let me just see. I just want to also just end with a piece here that taps into what you're saying, that there's no contraindications. So if you have very deep religious beliefs or philosophical beliefs and feel a little skeptical about Reiki, I want to add this piece, how it relates to prana with different names in different cultures. This primal energy that yogis call prana is the same energy that has been recognized, studied, and even worshipped by many religions, cultures, and civilizations. Mankind has given this energy many names: Holy Spirit, Chi, Cosmic Mind, Bioenergy, Soul, Shakti, Organ, and Elan Vital, to name a few. This energy is further explained in Samkhya yoga philosophy as not only the undifferentiated cosmic spirit, God, or in Sanskrit, it's known as Purusha, the one source of the entire creation, but also as what we recognize manifesting as the individual spirit, the spark of the divine within us. So it has many names, friends, and however you incorporate it to sink in with your philosophical or your spiritual or your religious beliefs is fine. It is open to everybody. So
I feel like it's such a disconnection from source to think that we're always reinventing the wheel.
could not agree more.
Well, this has never been done before. Yeah, it actually has.
It's been around quite some time,
thousands
as a matter
of
of fact. There you go.
But you can think that it's new.
Yep. And that's okay, too. Anything else, gals? Anything we want to add?
This was amazing. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. We are honored to have you here.
Yes, we are.
And I got to book an appointment as soon as the show is over. So if you have not been convinced yet, check out Christine Soza's website, truenorthawakening.com. Follow her on Instagram. Follow her on Facebook. Book the appointment. Go to the session. Be part of the posse. She's part of the cool group. If you want to be part of the cool group, you should check her out. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure that you drop them in those comment boxes, either on Spotify, if that's where you're listening, or on YouTube, if that's also where you're listening. And make sure you click subscribe on YouTube. We would love to have you follow us. But I think that's it for today, gals.
Yep.
All right. Woman warriors, go out there, kick some serious ass. Jai Bhagwan. And as always, may your soul be victorious.
Is life hard? Yeah, it's really fucking hard. And you can also have the life it is that you want. You just got to work for it.